come up with the questions, I'll see if I can find an answer, or alternatively I can give you an answer and you can see if you can find the question.
Oh, right. That's the beauty of
Well, I guess the first thing is, hopefully I haven't ended up. The very good graphic designers, I mean around the world, and the very good designers around the world, I'm not sure that they ever really retire. I think it's an infection you have for life. It's just how you are, it's just who you are, it's what you do. At least that's the way it's become for me. In fact, I probably didn't discover there was such a profession until, I would say, after I left university. Or, you know, it wasn't university then, RMIT was a technical college. The worst thing was that, you know, in a sense I didn't have a focus. The best thing was I didn't have a focus, and I think I learnt lots of little bits, most of which I still use today.
Yeah, okay.
So now I get to do that on jobs that are live and running and pretty diversified. The fact that we, you know, basically we had to completely uproot our studio, you know, 15, 20 years ago. And everything we believed and had lived on, we had to change. And we became dinosaurs. I suspect, and can't prove, but I think we see things in a different way. And that's kind of interesting in itself. But I'd be interested to know what was going to happen in 2 or 3 generations' time when that training is no longer running around the profession. And you've got a different sort of training, what sort of work will be produced and how will that come out? Well, I think the thing that's disappeared a lot is thinking time. And being a designer 15 years ago or 20 years ago, the thinking time was built in because you decide that, you know, a piece of type would be red, and you would decide what colour red, then you would mix up the paint, and you'd start painting, you know, maybe 25 years ago, or 20, you know, because there were dry transfers, but you still had to actually prepare for it, decide and do it. Now the doing part then obviously took time, and it was mechanical, it was, you know, repetitive, it was a bit tedious, but that was thinking time. You'd be sitting there painting it, and at the end you'd be hoping to heck that you'd made the right decision, because if you hadn't made the right decision, you knew that you had to go back, mix up the paint again, and whatever period it took you to actually execute it had to be just repeated. These days you say, well, I want it to be red, blue, green, you know, darker, lighter, brighter, whatever. I think one of the key things has become this ability to read what's on the screen. How do you assess what's on the screen? How do you understand what's on the screen? Not just I like it or I don't like it, but in some structural term, how am I reading that? What do I see automatically? Because if I can understand that quicker, I can actually work very, very quickly. I mean, that's our profession. First off, our profession is often dealing with other people's issues, not our own. Usually what we're dealing with is people engage us generally in our profession because they have a need to communicate something or a need to execute something to explain it to others. So our jobs as designers, I think, have increased in difficulty in a sense that not only do we have to make it look good and we have to make it communicate, we actually have to make it entertaining or interesting, or people are just going to disappear. And the second thing is the client influence on the project. Without the client, you don't have a project. Clients only want a solution to the problem. And most of the time, they're not your enemy. They're just frustrated communicators. They're desperate to make sure that their message is getting across. I think it's our job as those people translating that information to understand what it's all about. The people that say to me, oh, the client was very happy, they're words that I absolutely hate. I want to know that the client was absolutely blown away, never knew they could go there, and oh my God. I should have surprised them. I should have shock them, and at the same time they should respond hopefully in a way of, you got exactly what I was talking about and you've made it live. And hopefully we're going to give them what they need. How do you judge if it's good? I think this is the hardest question. I think, we all, when we conclude a project, hopefully we think it's good. And the day after we hate it. I mean, that's what you always hope you're going to do it better than you did it last time.